I am a PhD candidate from Istanbul, Turkey at Koç University. I am conducting my research to increase, with the aim of increasing sustainability awareness and sustainable behavior of fashion consumer. Um, sorry. My research background, when we look at the literature about the sustainability communication between brands, consumer, NGOs, governments, policymakers, etc., we realize that there is a plethora of terms, labels, and certifications which are used vaguely and interchangeably. Like this causes frustration on fashion consumer that they don't understand, they don't differentiate the terms or these labels. And also, sustainable product development process and manufacturing and methods and procedures are very complex for them to understand. Like they don't know the difference between recycle, upcycle, downcycle, and it is difficult to understand for an average fashion consumer. And also, thirdly, and there is one more person. The certifications and label system, some of them are really trustworthy and scientific, like eco-label or fair trade or vegan labels, etc. But these are being faked or copied by brands for purposes like greenwashing. So consumers lose their trust in these labels and certification systems. All these end up as fashion consumers to avoid sustainable consumption behaviors and like ignore the existence of such a problem and don't change their behavior to sustainable ways. With this research background and literature review, we conducted three focus group sessions. And with these focus group sessions, we collected the data about that. In terms of sustainable fashion communication, consumer does not know what they should know about, where to find the right information and correct information and trustworthy information, and which information is trustworthy. So this refers that there is a lack of sustainable literacy in eye of fashion consumer, in the minds of them. And on the other hand, they want to receive information about sustainability, but not too much, because they feel overwhelmed and overloaded with too much information and with too much technical details, etc., that some data and infographics are very overloading for them. So the different types and levels of information should be provided for this for fashion consumer about communication of sustainability. And thirdly, we realize that there are different types of consumers. For example, there is an average consumer type who does not even know that the sustainable fashion products can exist. And they are not aware of such a kind of consumption options. And secondly, there is a group that who is responsible about their consumption choices. But for example, they prefer sustainable products, or they want to know about the background story of a product, or they want to prefer sustainable products, but they cannot reach information and trust the information. So with this preliminary findings and literature review in the background, we aim to, our ultimate goal was to increase sustainable awareness and behavior. But to be able to do that, we aim to develop a source of information for fashion consumer to increase their behavior and awareness in sustainability in fashion context. So with this, does it clear to you? Do you want me to go more details, or you understand basically how the research began? Okay. With this in mind, today in this workshop, I will give you Excel sheets. I will share it in the chat box of Zoom now. And first, I will ask you to 15 minutes to work individually in this Excel sheets. I will show how it will work. And after that, I will request you to send me those Excel sheets. Then we will go on it collectively and try to match these terms and criteria collectively. And afterwards, we will evaluate the idea and discuss about it, and we will be done. Here I will stop sharing this screen and send you the Excel. You should all have Excel, right? Okay. Why can't I upload it here?
You'll have to email us because Zoom won't accept.
Oh, really? I tested that it worked, but okay. Can you all type down your emails? that so I can email to you, if you don't mind sharing your email.
Oh, I can't see how to send it. There's no sending thing.
There should be 5, right?
I have 5 now, I think.
Okay. I'll have this just. Okay, yes. I just sent it without any subject or text body, but I hope you receive it. Have you received it? Okay. Now I will share the same Excel sheet on the screen so I can explain it to you. Do you see it? Okay. Here there is a bigger table named as criteria, and there are smaller ones on the right with different colors, with terms, procedures, certifications, and labels. I will ask you to copy, for example, sustainability, and paste it to you the criteria which is related to it. It can be in more than one, for example, environmental and employee, stakeholder, etc. If you have more ideas, more terms, more procedures and certifications, labels, or criteria, please add more. You can use this Excel sheet as however you like. You can type notes under it, etc. Here, the aim is to relate these terms, procedures, and certifications and labels to certain criteria, and then work on it collectively to do it all together and evaluate that which sort of information can be provided to fashion consumer in the end about sustainability of a fashion product. Is it clear for you?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I might have missed out on something you said, but the blue like categories up here, environmental impact of production, is that like something that emerged from consumers, these topics? Or?
Yeah, these criteria emerge from literature review and also the focus group sessions that are preliminary data we had. Like we realized that these main 5 criteria wanted to be known about a fashion product. But if you have, I hope you, if you don't, it doesn't matter. If you have more ideas or criteria depending on your experiences in the past, etc., please add more. It's okay that I'm just trying to gather as much as keywords, etc., from you.
Okay.
There is a recent participant.
I don't, maybe it's just me. I might need more than 15 minutes to think about where to put things.
Well, we have time. It's much more than I expected. So you can just say whenever you're done. It's okay. I mean,
okay.
like it can be 20 or 25, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Thanks.
And we could put them in we could put all the colored ones many places, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can place it more than one cell. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes.
So you're saying we basically pick up, like say, sustainable from terms and put it under one of the criterias, right?
Yes. Also terms, procedures, all of them on all three on the right will go to the bigger table on the left. And certifications may be a little bit like unfamiliar too. You can Google them. When you see the logo, it is much better, but I didn't want to fill the Excel with all the logos here. How is it going?
Yeah, I think should take another 2-3 minutes for me.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I received one more. Shall we finish it in 2 minutes? Are we all done now? I think we're done, yes. Okay. How was it?
You always think that everything can be everywhere somehow. There's only a few that maybe can't. So
This is how I feel about those parts and everything.
but I don't know. I made a strategy, and I don't know if that was the point of it, but like thinking very quickly, maybe as like consumer myself, where would I sort of conventionally think it, and not as a researcher that has to question everything all the time. So yeah. But
Okay.
yeah. Some of them I didn't know the certification.
Yeah, that was the same with me. I didn't know what some of them were at all. So I just kind
So
of
I didn't place the ones I didn't know.
Okay.
no.
There were terms, procedures, or more like certifications?
The certification.
Certifications.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the certification part is the most difficult because there are so many local one, regional one, or like national ones, etc. That's the most difficult part for me as well, but we can all think about it all together. Now we can do it collectively on the sheet I share on my screen. Then we can discuss about it further. Look, what do you think about sustainable?
I put it all across.
Yeah.
you too.
For me, it's everything. Yeah.
Okay. And environmental?
Well, the first column, of course, raw materials
The
and
third
material
one?
detail.
Yeah.
Third one?
Yeah.
And the last one?
Yeah, and I think animal welfare for me
I think
as well.
animal welfare, yeah. And employee and stakeholder ethical social welfare.
Yeah.
Here too, okay.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. And green?
It's tied together.
Yeah.
The green is very fluffy, isn't it? It's,
Green is just like what green?
yeah. How about blue? Yeah. I guess it's all of it as well, I think,
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
I must.
It's kind of like sustainable,
Yeah.
like the earlier version of sustainable, isn't it?
Yeah. I think in marketing discourse, green is used more than sustainable, like, I guess. That's how I feel when I read the articles.
Yes.
Natural.
But there is this paper on the development on sustainability terms and thinking, and I think they put sort of green and eco low and then sustainable.
Is it the one Thomas wrote?
No, it's
Like an eco-lexicon?
No, I can try and dig it out for you later. I can't
Okay,
remember
thanks.
that. Yeah.
And natural?
I think raw material and material details.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, natural.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ethical?
Production and
Yeah. Well, ethical.
Yeah.
All of them for me, I think.
yes, me too.
Very
But
helpful.
I think people often think about it like conventionally with animals and people, but you have to act ethically in all the others as well. So.
And slow?
I just had that in environmental impact and production.
And
but also for me in post-purchase product care.
Yeah.
The last one, okay.
Yeah, it's
Really?
like how, because it's how you think about your garments.
Like washing
your
it less
Oh,
and
yes, of course.
keeping it in the
Yeah.
sun.
All
and
use
of that.
practices and like how you build the wardrobe and all that.
And circular?
Raw material.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also impact of production, because if you
Impact of production, yeah.
Ecological?
I mean, circular care, I think I put it also in product care, but it's maybe a bit dodgy there, I don't know. But it's something how we think about circularity as consumers as well, in a way. When ecological. Raw materials, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe animal welfare, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, animal welfare, I guess it's something to do with how we also farm animals, or...
That's exactly, I'm thinking like kitting and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any, there are probably certifications for that as well.
And local?
I think production, raw material.
Also employee and stakeholder.
Yeah, even that, yeah.
Yeah. Animal welfare can be in terms of transportation.
Yeah, definitely animal welfare.
Animal.
Even the post-purchase product care can have local as an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go locally for repairs and all that. It's like how
buying local brands and all of that is there.
Yeah.
Have you added more terms in this category?
No, but inspired from another paper. I thought she was here as well. Is she here? You that did a paper on Sarah. You did a paper, like, because you had all the terms there.
Yeah, exactly.
Very biased for
like transparency and all these.
Okay.
Excel file I sent you back via email. I added all the terms that I actually also researched.
Great.
And for me, every term has a very specific meaning. So I'm very biased. I'm not able, but it's interesting to hear that for normal consumers, normal people, even though you're experts in the sustainable fashion industry, all the terms can have so many meanings. For me, it's super specific.
Yeah.
And, I actually added one more column that you will see in my Excel file.
Okay, great, thanks.
Which I call product life cycle, because based on my readings, consumers are increasingly interested in understanding how to reduce the product life cycle impact, and also in the post-purchase phases, but even before. So for me, maybe it's something it's worth looking at.
Okay. You added like a criteria, like an extra criteria?
An extra criteria,
okay.
yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Also, I wouldn't call environmental impact of production, but also only impact of production, because the impact, or production. Because you can production methods, and the impact is not only environmental, I mean, even on the people, on the animals. And then this makes even more complicated to criteria, but And yeah, I added more terms if you want me to read them.
Of course, please.
I looked at transparent, inclusive, circular, responsible, conscious, diversity, respect, equal.
I've received it from your Excel account.
And I found them on the Sustainable Fashion Glossary.
Yeah, I saw it on your presentation yesterday. I will definitely go through on it. Yeah.
But I can just put in because they work, because we're in a project, Erasmus Plus project on like doing this new platform for fashion tutors. And they work around a lot, and we do as well, these 4 pillars of sustainability. So that's also where a lot of this from the glossary comes from, thinking about sustainability also as social, cultural, and economical, on top of environmental. So something as inclusive becomes important, for instance. So where traditionally when people talk about sustainability, which this also reflects a bit, is the environmental impact.
Then I go to procedures and recycled.
Raw material.
And production.
And post-purchase product care.
Upcycled.
The same one.
Yeah.
For example, the difference between those 3 are not known at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, at all is of course very, very brave to say, but from the consumer side, it is very difficult to differentiate them from one another.
And there's a new word now, which is called repurposing. So when you say you're recycling something, you're sometimes told you're repurposing and not really recycling it or upcycling it.
I hate to be really stupid, and I'm embarrassed to admit it, but what is downcycled?
Actually, it is quite close to recycle. Even I have difficulty to differentiate.
I think it's if you make something out of a fiber object or something that is considered of a lesser quality than what it was originally.
Oh, I see. So like making mattress stuffing out of T-shirts. Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought that was called repurposing, but now I know.
Now, repurposing can go both ways.
No, but actually downcycling, won't downcycling be like chopping up a T-shirt and knitting and making a, say, scarf out of it? Because then you're cutting larger pieces of textile into smaller strips, which don't have, a second life after you've sort of,
that makes
downcycled it.
That makes more sense to call it down when you're cutting it up.
Oh, so you're talking about scale of the...
Yeah, that's how I saw what you were saying.
I don't think it's used like that in Denmark. Anyway,
it's not really. Downcycled isn't a word that I hear much in London.
But repurposing?
Repurposing.
Because I would think the scarf idea for us would be more repurposing. It's like you basically keep the value, but in a different object or artifact or
But like the mattress stuffing, like here in India, like when we teach also in this is like in the sustainability module, downcycling would be like cutting, and repurposing would be like putting it in like making a mattress stuffing or something out of it. So you're keeping the product, you're retaining it. You can still pull it out and do something out of it, but if you cut it, then you downcycle it. It can't be put together into a larger textile.
Oh, so you're putting it in a mattress, but without chopping it up or something. Just stuff. Oh, okay. Do you think the consumers are still with us?
Do you have the translations of these words in your own languages? Because in Turkish, we barely have all of these. I mean, for recycle we have because it's a considerably older method. But for upcycle, downcycle, repurpose, even we don't have Turkish versions for those terms.
Never heard of it. Always heard recycling.
It very easily gets confused with bicycling because it's called the same thing in Danish.
By the way, yes, in one of the research results, some people related to bicycling.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
bad.
Okay, so downcycle like
Would be
same
raw
for you?
material and material detail.
Okay.
Just wanted to understand something. The first column, isn't it talking about the impact of production? Is it just talking about production, or is it talking about the impact of production?
Well, more like environmental impact of it, but you said it should cover more. Maybe an extra category can be for this, because raw material and material details is more to the production, but then it's really difficult to differentiate, because when you go through it with an engineer perspective, then process is getting even much bigger. So making it simple to understand for a consumer is the ultimate goal of my research. So,
but you also have the CO2 emission, and then you have like pollution, so which might not be the same thing.
Sorry?
You can have both pollution from production, and then you can have CO2 emission, and it might not correlate somehow.
I didn't get it.
Environmental impact. I mean, you can have the whole climate debate on CO2, but it can also be polluting a river, which might not have anything to do with CO2 emissions. So there are sort of two aspects of it.
Oh, yeah, it's so complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's same for energy use, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would you take these ones?
Production, materials, but also post-purchase product care.
Yeah.
Mm.
The same for water use.
Yeah.
Carbon footprint.
The same.
And in animals, I think.
Animals as well. Yeah.
I've never heard of waste generation before, so I wasn't entirely sure.
Well, this is about the waste you produce during the production process, but also during the post-purchase process.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
can be a waste with the packaging of an online purchase, or also the waste of like those chemical dyes you release to the rivers or so, any kind of waste.
And
So
also and microplastics that would
exactly
end up in your water.
Well, production, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There could be something maybe in the welfare. I don't know, depends if it's toxic waste or...
Yeah.
Well, also, if you think about animal, it's different. I was thinking about like chicken that's cut up and put in polystyrene packets and stuff like that, but I don't know whether that's
nothing to do with the welfare. I guess
and that's to do with eating as opposed to fashion. Sorry.
Well, it can be animal welfare in terms of like the pollution of water and oceans and sea.
And also, you know what, in terms of, sheep dipping, when they're being dipped for wool and stuff like that, that can be very, very bad for them, actually. The kind of tick stuff that they put on them to prevent the sheep being for the wool. And so it could go in there.
Okay.
And also product care.
Yeah.
I mean, all the
and even
away
raw material.
garments. Yeah.
Did you also mention the social welfare? No.
Yeah.
That's
I was thinking about whether that was like toxic waste or like the environment that people work in.
Yeah, like in health.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you added more in this column in your own sheets?
Not really.
I don't know what this is.
Ecotex.
Yeah.
This is the organic, and this is the certification of textile materials, whether they are organic.
It's huge here in Denmark.
I've not heard. I've seen it, but I'm not very familiar with it in London, in England.
Some product, actually, it's one of the most common ones, but the label doesn't look very informative to the end user, to the consumer actually. So it's like more in a kind of business to business.
Yeah. As
kind of certification. Yeah.
As a consumer, you wouldn't know what that was.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, a little bit. I mean, in a lot of the sort of secondhand online apps we have in Denmark, people are beginning to write these certifications when they resell their products. Yeah. Anyway, it's in production, I guess.
Okay.
And materials and product care, maybe. Has it got anything to do with how you take care of your products? Maybe not.
I haven't put it in product care.
No. I mean, there could be this thing that, I don't know, but I tend to see that if people know that it's like a precious material somehow.
In product care, maybe you should.
Yeah, they look more, they sort of take better care of it, or they appreciate it in a different way if they buy it because of this label. But yeah, I don't have any evidence.
So should I keep it here or do you prefer?
I just think it's important to actually look at how it affects people knowing that it's, for instance, fair trade, or that it's handmade, or that it has these certifications, whether it gives them, whether they, so I don't know, it's not up to me, but I might be putting it there, but more as a question mark maybe. So,
but then I also feel that this is about, in the criteria here, Gul is talking about post-purchase product care. So I'm not sure, because there are like, while we were filling this, the reason I took longer because I saw some of the things I didn't know. So I found out Gruner Knopf, which is a German a green button. They are talking about post-purchase product care, and Green Carpet Challenge is talking about that. So I felt, so I'm not sure if you're saying that okay, as an aspiration, like this is what this label should also do, or are we saying at present they take care of these criterias?
Yeah, then we can just remove it and put the green button in there instead when we get to that.
Okay, I removed them. Eco-label, you're probably more familiar with this because it's used in the European Union, I think.
I guess it must be production.
Yeah,
and materials again. I don't know, it could have impact on the working environment for people somehow.
Organic?
But eco-label should also be in raw materials. Huh?
Yeah.
And do we have eco-label on animal products? I mean, in Denmark, you can buy ecological meat with an eco-label. So
you might have, I think. I mostly saw it on more like detergents, like cleaning soaps, etc. But I don't know.
No, and I don't know whether it impacts. I mean, in Denmark, it doesn't necessarily correlate with animal welfare. It's like more the food they eat and stuff.
Yeah. And organic?
I think production, raw material, animal welfare, and post-purchase product care.
Why do you put that there? And not Ecotex? It's kind of almost the same.
Yeah, we can probably skip it, yeah.
No, it's like,
no,
I don't mind it.
No, I was thinking like, again, like how we were talking about detergents and also like how there are detergents today that are organic and, there are sort of just with that thought, and also like how cleaning organic, like if you wash a organic cotton, t-shirt or a shirt, it doesn't, have the microfiber, the plastic, the polyester, like how the polyester has the microfiber. So that was the reason I was thinking.
But it's not something you do yourself, you can say, as a consumer. But it has an impact on it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we can skip it, because
I will write those because if it opens up a discussion, it's worth to think about it.
Yeah.
No, but also because see, if instead of post-production product care, if it was consumption, then it would have been different, you know.
Yes.
Because you're very specific and you're talking about, like, you know, what would people do after they bought the product? How would they take care of it? So,
The reason we end up with this criteria was actually partly about that as well. For example, in our focus group sessions, consumers said that they don't know how to care their product. If it's wool, if it's cotton, if it's organic, or if it's polyester. So they want to know that, for example, if I cause too many microfibers, if I wash my t-shirt every time I wear it, somebody should tell me that. So I can wash it like every 2 times I wear, etc. So that's why, I mean, both of them can be here. So it's worth to discuss, yeah. And fair trade.
I think production and employee welfare.
Yes.
And even
also materials, details.
Raw material, yeah.
Well, animal welfare.
Yeah, yes. Animal welfare.
It's for me the same. Like, does it make you appreciate the product more, or treat it in a different way?
Yeah.
But
maybe
we don't know.
Well, if you buy a kind of hand knitted garment from Peru and you know that the women have been paid or whatever, you kind of do feel a little bit more than if you picked it up in Primark or somewhere.
True.
That, from my perspective, I would be like that.
And I think usually people that buy fair trade do it knowingly. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's a very sort of conscious certification.
A conscious decision to not buy polyester hat made in Bangladesh, sold by Gap.
Yeah.
Doesn't this reasoning apply to all certifications in the end? Because if I buy a product that is certified, so it has higher value because it has got the certification, then as a consumer, I'm willing to be more considering when in post-purchase. So I wrote on my notes, actually, look at how certification can influence consumers' care.
Yeah.
Certification is all important, because I was thinking about, I wonder how, you know how you hear about brands which says it's made in UK, but actually most of it was made in China, and then they finished some of the stitching in the UK. I mean, they're very influential labels, and it's just what I think I'd really like to know if is the whole chain.
It's the whole thing, and people really are thirsty to trust. I mean, I was part of a panel debate a month ago, and everyone in the audience was like, we really need certification just as a level 1 to something we can actually trust, that we don't, buy just greenwashing. Yeah, but it can be certifications in different areas of sustainability, or like just some very, if you could agree on something, it was like, please.
Well, I went into Uniqlo about 5 years ago when they were selling lots of cashmere jumpers. And I just said, where is your cashmere from? And the girl who was working there, she had absolutely no idea. And so I know I'm going off track here, but, it's not just about the labels, it's also about the product. They should know more about their product. I didn't buy the jumper, actually, because I was just testing it. No, I wasn't. I was just intrigued.
But this is in the pre-purchase phase. Based on our discussion, you actually put forward that certification may also play a role after buying the garment. This is something that never came up in my reading, so thank you for the
Okay, I was going to make a note about that. Fair trade within those certifications is one of the most well-known one, and that's why one of the most trustworthy one according to consumer, because it has an older history compared to other ones, I guess.
But it's not about environmental sustainability, right?
No, it's not.
It's about paying a fair wage.
And constructing a more fair system for small producers.
Yes.
It's hoping to stop, you know, that sort of chasing the cheap needle kind of thing. It's production welfare, garment, you know, the producers.
But
And also
general
food, etc. Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
It is also used in like for Starbucks, for coffee beans, etc. Also in other fields. So maybe
chocolate, chocolate and bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes across product groups. So.
Yeah, and I read about this general trend regarding certifications that are broadening their scope. So even for certifications that were born for, let's say, social purposes like fair trade, now they're acknowledging connections and interdependencies among issues. So if you have, I don't know, richer and wealthier community, then people would care more about the environment they live in, blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to encourage also environmentally friendly practices. So each certification is broadening the scope, even the very specific ones.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. Yeah.
But like also like just 6 months back, I was doing another research, you know, with my colleagues, the same colleagues with you know, whom I was doing this research that I presented in this conference, and in interviews, in personal interviews, some designers told us who are working with organic cotton in India that despite of some vendors having the GOTS certification, they can't trust them. They're not sure, you know, so they have to, like, if they worked with that vendor say for a year, then only, or like say for some time, then only they can trust. So there are only 2-3 brands in India at the moment who are trusted for the kind of organic cotton that they sell, and other vendors, you know, like they might just give you 40% organic cotton and 60%, you know, like any cotton, because you can't really test it. Like in the region of Gujarat, the western part of India, they like one NGO worked on reviving like a, you know, like a species of cotton, like a new, like a old species of cotton, and then everybody started to sell it off because there was no certification for that. Or for that matter, like we have the wool mark certification or the silk mark certification in India, and at times, you know, acrylic products are sold with the wool mark tagging and the wool mark, you know, certification.
That's
So
scandalous.
that's also like ground reality when you talk about these certifications.
And there are really cases like this, especially in the manufacturing side, because I have a product developer friend in textile industry working for a manufacturer in Turkey. They also say that they're producing for Inditex, like for Zara, etc. They just fix it to the rules to just make their product certified. So certification,
And
this is also the handicap of it.
especially Zara's composition tags, like the tags that they put, the wash care label that they put, it always gives a very ambiguous information. They'll not tell you the percentage of, like if it's cotton polyester, they won't tell the percentage. They'll just say polyester and cotton, or polyester, you know, strip cotton. It won't really give you the percentage, so you don't know. And they would just say polyamide. They would not even write polyester at times.
Yeah.
I think in Europe it's compulsory to put the percentage.
Where's that? In Europe?
In Europe, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't seen it where they haven't put the percentage, but I believe you. It's not like a...
No, like I've seen some garments that I have, you know, that that I've seen, like when we were doing some module in college and students were supposed to bring in their garments in different categories, and some garments didn't have a, like the composition, the label didn't have a composition. It had country of origin and all the other information, but the percentage of the fiber content was missing from the mix.
Let's finish certifications quickly.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I also
Teacher, we will.
because I want to share the idea and I want to hear your comments on it as well. Do you know Grüner Knopf?
I don't know it.
It's a new pilot program of Germany, actually. It categorizes all these certifications under some certain subcategory, and tags product if it has that green button or not.
I don't know what the green button is.
That's the name of their new coming label.
Oh, okay.
We can skip this one if you're not that familiar with it. Yep, vegan, PETA approved vegan.
Animal
Materials.
welfare and materials.
Yeah, and animal welfare.
And World Fair Trade Organization. This is another version of fair trade.
Fair trade.
Same as fair trade?
Yeah.
Okay. Certified B Corp?
I don't know.
No idea.
No.
I just checked its American certification and it would come for production and that's it. I couldn't read the whole thing. I just read the about.
What is it? Is it organic or fair trade or what?
I don't remember.
Very comprehensive, the B Corp. It's not, it was born in America, but now it's quite widespread all over the world. And it basically rates many, I think 11 different material.
Same as Gruner Knopf then. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it, except from post-purchase product care, I think it could go in all the other criteria.
Oh.
Yes, we are back. Okay. Global Organic Standard, that's also like organic, I think. Same as organic?
Yeah.
Okay. Green Carpet Challenge. This is...
I think it's just the last one because it's just wearing the red carpet dress again. So,
Oh, is it?
Oh, that.
The Green Carpet Challenge.
Well, it's neither. It's just making people use more.
Oops. And made by? This is also about the providing information about...
yeah, made by is employee and stakeholder.
Yeah, who made it? That's another organic certification. Same as the other ones?
I don't know it. But
another
I guess,
organic certification system.
yeah.
Doesn't it apply to food only? The this one, the USDA.
And is it?
yeah, that's what I also figured out when I was reading about it.
Because that's one of the things I discovered when I was writing the paper I presented yesterday.
Okay. I found out the sources for textile, but you might be you might be right. Okay, I'll check about.
But is it farming or?
Yeah, it's for all food related products.
Yeah.
Well, some textile products, some raw materials come from agriculture. So maybe that's why it was put on the database you found. It's only for food, like food related products.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna eat, not where.
Okay. But Fairware from sorry.
Please check it.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Fairware is employee and stakeholder. I don't know if it could be fair to the animals. I don't know.
This is like a like paying at least 1% of your profit for a social or environmental purpose kind of system.
So it would be the first one, environmental impact on production, and also the purchase post the last.
Last three.
Better Cotton Initiative would be raw material. And also like social welfare and
and I guess also environmental impact.
Also environmental impact, yeah.
Positive luxury is this certification for luxury products.
In the UK.
What do they certify? I mean, what is the criteria to be a luxury product?
I was going to say, is it?
Yeah,
What? It's so ambiguous.
Yeah. Even when you go deep and you search for it, you just don't get any details. That's the problem.
And like for positive luxury, the symbol was a butterfly. So you have a butterfly as a symbol on the product if it's positive luxury.
But how is it positive?
No, but we don't know what positive means.
No.
It's be made in a sweatshop by organic wool.
It's very positive for the shareholders' pocket. Yeah.
So where do you place it?
Nowhere.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Means nothing.
Okay. And cradle to cradle is for like circular economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Raw materials?
raw material and
Product care.
Product care,
or like
yeah.
pools, what you do with your clothes.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I will go to discussion and evaluation about my final idea. That as I already pushed you to mention the label idea in some parts of my presentation, that with this categorizations, terms, labels, and certifications, you see my presentation now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We want to produce a label system which gather all these existing certifications, keywords, etc., and try to make it at first sight simple to understand for the consumer. But if you want to go deeper, like we just discussed about details, etc., provide different levels of information. So that kind of idea we have, and I want to develop this system. Doesn't directly relate to how it will look, etc. Design maybe cannot be manageable for the time work of my PhD, but at least to provide the source of information to develop such a system is my ultimate aim. So yeah, I would like to think about it. Like, what do you think about this idea? What could be the possible challenges? Like, how could it be? Does it have to be like a print one or digital one, etc.? I would like to receive your ideas and opinions and comments.
I think it's always an issue, like who has the right to define what's in there, because there are a lot of interests at stake.
I think also like developing a, like a software kind of a thing where you can, like, if you go in, you could tick through, like, if you've gone through the business manual. So there's a book, there's a Fashionary, which initially was like sketchbook, and now they have a book called the business manual.
I know, yes.
And the business manual has like these steps that you can follow to build your brand. So something like that, but in like a digital format. So like how you go into like a app or like a Pinterest and you choose your areas of interest, and then it automatically through AI gives you like a permutation combination and something. So maybe.
Would you say that's for the consumer?
Yeah, the label idea aims for the consumer, but
okay.
more for the producer kind of guideline you imagine. Yeah.
Maybe there needs to be some kind of code or something which you can scan with your phone that immediately gives you. So you could go into, say, wherever, Uniqlo, where the cashmere jumper was, and I can go, okay, and they have it, not just in the clothes where you're rooting around, but like clearly marked, so you can stick your phone up and you go, okay, and it's got the whole chain. That would be good.
Yeah.
Like what Everlane does, and like what you're suggesting could be part of the visual merchandising. So when they display the product, like it could be a placard.
Absolutely.
That would be really
And then so there's complete transparency. And it would need to be, I mean, it could be, if the big brands started doing it, then it would be consumer, then that would, like if Zara and Gap and the big corporations started doing it, then it would push it further for the, but their supply chains could be a bit dodgy, to say the least.
Yeah. I think it could be good if there was if companies were allowed to really make an effort in one area and then to grow from there. like can be difficult to be like do the right thing everywhere at once in a way, so that there maybe be emphasis on, now you had these categories, it could also be like the social, cultural, environmental, or whatever categories, but that there was somewhere they could say, oh, here we are the strongest, and then we are building from that outwards.
About this aspect, I will ask a question. In one sense, it might be quite encouraging for brands to improve all the other skills that they are trying to be successful at. Like it can be just good at, I mean, they can be successful at ethical production, but maybe lacking something in like animal welfare, etc. Well, we cannot be ethical without animal welfare, but anyway, just an example. Could it also be an obstacle for them? Like there are 4 category or 5 category criteria that they're just very low in other 2. So should it be modular, like they can promote themselves with only 1 category? Could it also be greenwashing? What do you think about it? Like
it could be color coded. You could have a sort of like a graph with production, and it could be, you know, like a green, red, orange. It could be, and so people could glance at it like that. But it's down to the brands. Will the brands buy it because it's their supplied, it's their sort of whole identity that's going to be judged by this. It's whether a brand would be willing to it's like looking at someone's dirty laundry, isn't it? Are they prepared to have their...
but that's the whole challenge with this thing. As soon as you say, okay, we know something here, but there's something we don't know, then people start shooting at them, you know. So how can we share? How can we actually be transparent when...
Well, we need to be transparent.
Exactly, but it's like everyone has to do it at once in a way. So
it has to be. We haven't got enough time really to not be brutal. But it's the powers that be, the money drivers, aren't they? They're the ones that are. they're the ones pulling the strings.
Yeah, but how do you Gul, do you say it like that?
Yeah.
Do you see this label as something like you just suggest, Matilda, is an app, and then the app is the one, like how do we get the brands to put this into their garments?
Well,
it has to be an only positive thing for them to add the certification, because otherwise they won't.
Well, about the like encouraging brands to use this, I think it's something that is bigger than me, like maybe United Nations kind of system to promote such a label. But from the practical side, I think there should be, I mean, I'm thinking that there should be different types of environments and versions of it, like as the label on the product, in-store environments, like digital extensions, maybe app, not maybe, I think all of them, like application, website, or some different, even different extensions. For example, where was it? I think there is a Chrome extension about which is able to detect the fake news in some certain news websites, like very famous one. It doesn't work in Turkish, for example, but for example, it goes to Guardian and can detect whether news is correct, like with its historical information, with its daily information, with its data, etc. Maybe even such a kind of Chrome or Safari extension can be a part of this. So it's very diversified and should benefit from technology, of course, but maybe some old school methods like labeling, etc., should also be a part of it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to you.
From what I know, the UN is actually working on a blockchain-based label, and they want to encourage companies to use it based on the existing anti-counterfeiting strategies. So they already have some QR codes or other type of tags or labels that identify that specific products. This is true especially for luxury products. They're super expensive and they are limited collections normally. So they want to embed additional information about production practices and so on through that QR code or other label. But the problem is the reliability of information. That's why they want to use the blockchain. But still, it's super difficult because, yes, you can first you have an environmental problem with blockchain as well. And second, you can put the information on the blockchain. Nobody can ever amend the information. Yes, but if you put the wrong information, then what's the point? So they're struggling. I'm part of the expert group. It's very difficult.
Yeah. You have your work cut out. Decades. Yeah.
Point, as you mentioned, we have problems because we have national, regional, supranational, transnational, whatever certifications, and companies pay to get the certification. So as a starting point, maybe it would be worth developing something to make those certifications more understandable for consumers. So as a
or maybe just ignore the like validity of some of them because they're not trustworthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but maybe because when I was filling the table, even though I read thousands of articles about certifications, I was still confused and not sure what this certification covers, and I had to check my notes. Oh yes, blah blah blah. Okay, and so, and that was me that I actually spent the last 4 years reading about certifications. So for a normal average consumer, this is even more difficult. So when I was filling the table, I was thinking, so maybe it's worth explaining through an app, through, I don't know what, label, or what is the meaning of the certification itself, and maybe of the most used, most reliable, most renowned, I don't know, as a starting point.
And maybe it shouldn't be something you read, but like a visual system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
this is strong because you have to be able to sort of you can't, you know, there's too much to read as a person in the world today. So
I was going back to the first preliminary findings that there is a big percentage of consumers, especially in Turkey, but I'm sure everywhere it should be the same, that people are not that they're not interested in going to that deep information. So just something very simple to understand it at first sight is maybe lacking. Maybe we just should think about it in a more simple way, but those terms and certifications is making everything so complicated in that sense.
I mean, I don't know how it is in your countries, but I mean, a big problem here in Denmark is that nobody knows anything about materials or where they come from.
Yeah.
As in, it's not taught in families or in schools or anything. Yeah. So what the composition is, no one even looks at it.
Yeah,
so there's a big coming, I mean, you have to start making people look inside and even ask the question, or even consider. I mean, I've talked to friends that are like, oh my God, we never thought about who made it or where it comes from or what material or whatever. So.
Yeah, that's also one of the aim. Like if you make something look okay and to be understandable, maybe they next time when they purchase something, they can look for it somehow.
Yeah.
More education.
Excuse me?
They need to. It's going to have to start much younger.
Yeah.
It has to be embedded in young children to be looking for this, because I don't think the younger generation, you know, like my son, he's 23, he's gone vegan. You know, they're all taking actions in different ways.
But vegan is, even that sometimes it's not, it's just a label and then it's okay. I mean, it can almost be any product.
Exactly, I totally agree. But what they're trying, I think a lot of people, younger people are, they're sort of voting with their feet in a sense. But I think if you're talking about the kind of gap between material, knowing what materials are and what clothing, if it gets brought back into schools, maybe.
Yeah, but how material links to how it's made, the whole, I mean, how it links into the world, the whole thing, because it's so remote. It's just like.
We used to learn that sort of stuff in geography as well, where cotton and sugar came from. I don't know if they do that anymore.
No. Anyway, but I think, for me, I think to engage people needs to be really easy and visual. And not something they have to sit and read.
And they need to care. That's the thing. They
Yeah.
need to care. They need to be worried, and they need to care.
And they need some push to be caring about
because
those matters.
you know, a lot of people couldn't care less. They just want a nice, quick, sexy, glamorous outfit to wear to the party that night. Yeah, maybe. And they don't care whether it's been made wherever and it's full of microfibers and it will shrink and the elastic's rubbish. You know, they don't care. And so how do we get them to care? I don't know. That's a big question.
It's like turning all the bolts and nuts at the same time, I think.
Turning the volume up.
Yeah.
Climate change will make people start caring big time.
Yeah.
When that really hits, then they'll start caring. But unfortunately, that could be too late.
Yeah, that's the thing. It can be too late, and probably will be. It was very helpful for me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's really
Thank
interesting. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, and you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.